Moon landing. The moon landing conspiracy theory claims that the 1969 Apollo 11 mission, in which astronauts first landed on the moon, was staged rather than real. According to this idea, the United States government filmed the landing on Earth to win the space race during the Cold War. Supporters of the theory often point to visual details in the footage, such as shadows, lighting, or the movement of the flag, as reasons to doubt its authenticity. To understand why this theory became popular, it is important to consider the historical context. At the time, competition between the United States and the Soviet Union was intense, and technological achievements were closely tied to national pride. Because of this, some people believed the government had a strong motivation to fake success. However, the moon landing is supported by a large amount of evidence, including photographs, scientific data, and independent tracking by other countries. Despite this, the theory continues to circulate, largely due to mistrust in authority and the persuasive nature of visual media. JFK. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963 remains one of the most debated events in American history. The official investigation concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. However, many people believe that the assassination involved multiple individuals or groups, making it a conspiracy rather than a single act. This belief comes from several factors. First, the event was witnessed by many people, and there were inconsistencies in testimonies and reports. Second, the political climate of the time was complex, involving tensions with foreign governments and internal divisions. These conditions made it easier for alternative explanations to emerge. Over time, different theories suggested involvement by government agencies, organized crime, or foreign powers. While none of these claims have been conclusively proven, they continue to attract attention. The persistence of this theory shows how major historical events can lead to long-term uncertainty, especially when people feel that not all questions have been fully answered. Area 51. Area 51 is a highly classified U.S. military facility located in Nevada. Because of its secrecy, it has become closely associated with conspiracy theories about extraterrestrial life. Some people believe that the government is hiding evidence of aliens or advanced technology at this location. The theory gained popularity in the late 20th century, especially after reports of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. Since the government did not openly explain activities at Area 51, speculation increased. For many, the lack of transparency suggested that something unusual was being concealed. In reality, Area 51 has been used for testing experimental aircraft and military technologies. These activities often involve advanced designs that may appear unfamiliar to observers. This can contribute to confusion and misinterpretation. Despite official explanations, the idea of hidden alien research continues to capture public imagination. It reflects a broader interest in space, unknown phenomena, and the possibility of life beyond Earth. 9/11. The attacks on September 11, 2001 were a major turning point in modern history. Official reports concluded that the attacks were carried out by the terrorist group Al-Qaeda. However, some conspiracy theories suggest that there were alternative explanations or hidden factors involved. These theories vary widely. Some claim that the government had prior knowledge of the attacks, while others argue that certain aspects of the events were not fully explained. Supporters often focus on technical details, such as the collapse of buildings or the sequence of events. The spread of these ideas was influenced by the scale and impact of the attacks. Because the event was so significant, many people searched for deeper explanations. In addition, the rise of the internet allowed information and opinions to spread quickly. While investigations have provided detailed accounts of what happened, conspiracy theories continue to circulate. This shows how major events can lead to ongoing debate, especially when they involve uncertainty and strong emotional responses. Illuminati. The idea of the Illuminati suggests that a hidden group of powerful individuals secretly controls global events. According to this theory, decisions about politics, economics, and culture are influenced behind the scenes by this organization. The concept originates from a real historical group called the Bavarian Illuminati, which existed in the 18th century. However, modern conspiracy theories expand this idea into a global network with significant influence. Symbols, public figures, and major events are often interpreted as evidence of this hidden control. One reason this theory remains popular is its flexibility. It can be applied to many different situations, making it difficult to disprove. It also appeals to the idea that complex systems are guided by a single source of power. In reality, global events are typically shaped by multiple factors, including governments, institutions, and economic forces. Despite this, the Illuminati theory continues to be widely discussed as a way of explaining complexity through a simplified narrative. Flat Earth. The flat Earth theory is the belief that the Earth is flat rather than spherical. Despite centuries of scientific evidence showing that the Earth is round, this idea has continued to gain attention, especially in recent years. Supporters of the theory often argue that images of Earth from space are fabricated or manipulated. One reason this theory persists is the accessibility of online platforms, where individuals can share and reinforce similar beliefs. Videos, diagrams, and personal interpretations are often presented as alternative explanations to established science. For some, the simplicity of a flat Earth model makes it easier to understand compared to more complex scientific concepts. However, the shape of the Earth has been confirmed through multiple independent methods, including satellite imagery, global travel routes, and physics-based measurements. These findings are consistent across different countries and scientific institutions. The continued popularity of the flat Earth theory highlights how misinformation can spread and how individuals may question widely accepted knowledge when alternative narratives are presented in a convincing way. Chemtrails. The chemtrails theory claims that the visible trails left behind airplanes contain chemicals deliberately released into the atmosphere for undisclosed purposes. According to this idea, these substances are used for weather control, population influence, or environmental experimentation. In reality, these trails are known as contrails, which are formed when hot exhaust from aircraft engines meets cold air at high altitudes. The water vapor condenses and freezes, creating visible streaks in the sky. This is a well-understood scientific process. The confusion often comes from the appearance and persistence of these trails. Some remain visible for long periods and spread out, which can make them seem unusual. Without an understanding of atmospheric conditions, this can lead to alternative explanations. The chemtrails theory illustrates how everyday observations can be misinterpreted, especially when scientific explanations are not widely understood or communicated clearly. Israel. This conspiracy theory claims that Israel has significant hidden control over the United States government and its political decisions. Supporters of the theory often point to the close relationship between the two countries, including military cooperation, financial aid, and diplomatic support, as evidence of unusual influence. The topic became more widely discussed due to the strong alliance between the United States and Israel over several decades. Lobbying groups, political partnerships, and shared strategic interests are often cited by people who support this theory. In some cases, these discussions focus on how foreign policy decisions are made and which groups have influence within political systems. However, critics argue that the theory often oversimplifies complex international relationships and can sometimes cross into harmful stereotypes or anti-Semitic narratives. Like many conspiracy theories, it tends to reduce complicated political and economic factors into a single explanation involving secret control. The relationship between countries is usually influenced by many factors, including trade, security interests, historical alliances, public opinion, and global strategy. Despite this, the theory continues to circulate online and in political discussions, especially during periods of international conflict or political tension. Denver Airport. The Denver International Airport has become the subject of various conspiracy theories. Some believe it contains hidden underground bunkers or secret facilities, while others suggest it plays a role in larger global conspiracies. These ideas are often linked to unusual features of the airport, including its large size, artwork, and design elements. Certain murals and symbols have been interpreted as having hidden meanings, which contributes to speculation. In reality, the airport was designed to handle future growth and high traffic, which explains its scale. The artwork is part of a public art program and reflects cultural and historical themes, rather than hidden messages. The Denver airport theory shows how unfamiliar design choices and large-scale infrastructure can lead to alternative interpretations. When people encounter something they do not fully understand, it can sometimes lead to speculation beyond the original purpose. Paul McCartney. The Paul McCartney replacement theory claims that the Beatles member died in the 1960s and was secretly replaced by another person. Supporters of this idea point to supposed clues in song lyrics, album covers, and public appearances. The theory began as a rumor and gained attention through media coverage and fan discussions. Over time, individuals analyzed details in music and imagery, interpreting them as hidden messages confirming the claim. In reality, there is no evidence supporting this theory. Paul McCartney has continued his career consistently with documented public appearances and works spanning decades. This theory highlights how patterns and coincidences can be interpreted in different ways. When people actively search for meaning, they may connect unrelated details into a larger narrative. It demonstrates how easily speculation can grow, especially when it involves well-known public figures.